What's going on, everybody? I am back to break down this 9-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Excited to get into it. Going to be giving you guys the top plays to get you in that green cash line tonight, as always, in my home run call of the day at the end of the video as well. Nailed it yesterday going with Vladdy Jr. off Gigi Gonzalez. Didn't get it his first at-bat, unfortunately, but hey, second at-bat came up. Launched one out of the ballpark, so we nailed the home run call of the day. Looking to nail it again today, so don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for that. And if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. Like goal on all these videos is going to be 200 likes, guys. The support last video was fantastic, so thank you. I really do appreciate that. It helps out in a big way. And if you haven't checked out Super Draft, check them out. They're the sponsor of the program here. They are a player props website and app, as well as a DFS website. I've been giving out prop picks every single day for that as well. We went 4-1 on those yesterday, so I'll be dropping another video, so look out for that. But if you haven't signed up for Super Draft, check them out. Use that promo code KJK DFS to receive an instant match on your first $25 deposit. You can use that code, or you can click the link down below in the description, and you can go to this page. When you see the KJK DFS logo, you know you're in the right spot. You can hit that $25 match, $25 deposit, click get offer. Get that offer on Super Draft. So go ahead and check them out. If you're getting serious about MLB DFS, I offer premium content packages. Check those out. Link below in the description, guys. I just launched a bunch of new ones, and I did launch the MLB All-Star package. It's been a lot of good value going on. I know first day or second day, we had one of the members come in second in a tournament. I'm doing live streams, exclusive Discord chats. You get access to all my tools for Prize Picks, Super Draft, DraftKings, and FanDuel. If you just play DraftKings, FanDuel, or just Super Draft, or just Prize Picks, or whatever that, I offer individual packages for each one of those at a little bit of a cheaper price, but they don't come with the VIP and the live streams and all that stuff. But let's get into the breakdown here, guys. We got a lock time of 4:05 today for the main slate, so a little bit different than what we're typically used to, but a nice 9-gamer, so we'll go game by game. We're going to talk about pitching first, and then we'll break down hitting on the latter half of the video. And as always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. And the top guy on the slate today is going to be Dylan Cease, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays in a pretty good matchup here. He has a 32.3% K rate overall with a 15% swinging strike rate, 32.4% K rate to righties, and a 32.1% K rate to lefties. 30+% K rate to both sides of the plate. Anytime you see that out of a pitcher, that means he's got elite stuff. He does come in as an underdog, unfortunately, but other than that, everything really going his way. It's also a really great pitching environment out there in the Trop. So you can see Tropicana Field, lots of red going on as far as for opposing hitters, but it is good for targeting pitching. I do think that Dylan Cease is definitely going to be one of the top pitching options on the slate today for sure. We have Aaron Ashby taking on the San Diego Padres. He's been really good with really good ground ball, fly ball stuff, high K rate. The question for him really is the leash. How long do they let him go? If you're looking at his recent performances as far as how long he's gone, you can see last time out, 100 pitches, the time before 91. So he is starting to get stretched out pretty significantly, which is a big deal because obviously you want the full allotment of pitches, but the numbers do look good. 7-7 on DraftKings as far as FanDuel is concerned. They've got him priced at 8-2. So he is a little bit of a nice discount. Could be somewhere that you're looking today. As far as the matchup, taking on the San Diego Padres, the Vegas data, all that stuff, he does come in as a 126 favorite. Then as far as how the Padres have fared against the left-handed pitching on the season, they're right kind of middle of the pack, but they've been pretty good for the most part. They don't strike out the most. They're a lot better against left-handed pitching than they are against right-handed pitching, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But, I mean, he's an option you could be looking to for sure if you want to. Whether he's my top option, I mean, we'll have to kind of talk about the bats, and obviously he's just a cheaper option that you could be going to if you want to load up for some more expensive bats. Would be the breakdown there. We got Mackenzie Gore taking on the Milwaukee Brewers, another great option with a 30.5% K rate to righties. Drops down to only a 20% K rate against lefties, and he does have a bit of a walk issue against lefties, but that's a 7 innings pitch sample size compared to a 34 innings pitch sample size for the right-handed hitter. So he's a top prospect. He's shown that he's legit. Has been really good. He's definitely an option you could be looking to. And then as far as the strikeout rates for the Milwaukee bats against left-handed pitching, I guess we can kind of talk about both of these teams' strikeout rates while we're here. The Padres really don't strike out a lot at the top of the order, but the bottom of the order, they have some heavy K guys. And then the Milwaukee Brewers strike out a lot against left-handed pitching for the most part. So I do think Mackenzie Gore is definitely a high upside option you could be looking to in your tournament lineups. He comes in as a little bit of a discount off of Dylan Cease. Problem for him, or not the problem, but the disclaimer, he's right around 90 pitches. He's not usually getting up to 100, but we saw him go 100 and 102 at times earlier in the season. So hey, I wouldn't count it out. I mean, as long as these pitchers are 90 plus, you're typically good to go ahead and target them. And then we have two really good pitchers in Miami. Pablo Lopez being number 1, Logan Webb being number 2. Logan Webb's strikeout rate is not quite as high as some of these other guys, but he has really good ground ball, fly ball stuff. They're in Miami, one of the best pitching environments in baseball. Pablo Lopez, same rule applies to him. Pulling up the diagram as far as how Miami plays. I mean, I don't think there's a shortage of pitching options on this slate, is what I'm gathering, very quickly here when we're breaking this down. Marlins Park, lots of red going on. So for me, it's really going to come down to just picking my bats first and then picking the pitcher that falls in that price range on whatever site you're playing on. So, I mean, I already mentioned all these guys, Pablo Lopez, Logan Webb, Mackenzie Gore, Aaron Ashby, Dylan Cease. You got Luis Garcia taking on the Kansas City Royals if you wanted to go there. The Royals haven't been the best. He has a rate of 27% K rate against righties and a 24% K rate to lefties. Nick Pivetta gets a great matchup taking on Oakland. Pavetta's not the greatest, but Oakland's the worst team in the league against right-handed pitching. So it's in Oakland as well. Great pitching environment. We targeted Nathan Eovaldi yesterday. I mean, I have no issues with you going with Nick Pivetta. So I don't think there's a shortage of pitching options on this slate. I could ramble on and talk about a few more guys, but I think we pretty much covered the main guys. I mean, Webb, Pivetta, you could be Tristan McKenzie. Don't want to leave him out. I'm glad I picked up on that. He's a high strikeout rate, and he's taking on Baltimore, another team that's a really good matchup. But he does have a bit of a walk issue. He can be a little bit inconsistent at times. But I mean, you gotta include him in the pool as far as, once again, if you need the salary relief, he's been good. He's been racking up the strikeouts. Usually gives up a few runs, but if you wanted to go there, just so many good options. I mean, I think Dylan Cease is the top arm really for me that I'm looking to go to. But I mean, Lopez, Pivetta, Webb, they're all good spots. So once again, I'm not going to really sweat the pitching. I'm just going to kind of take the pitcher that falls to me, I feel like, after my bats are done. But let's talk about the bats. I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, skill and our active ERA, sort it from worst to best, figure out the pitchers we can target. And the worst guy on the slate today is going to be Zach Davies taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's terrible across the board. Bad walk issues, doesn't strike anyone out, gives up a ton of hard contact. He gives up a 495 slugging to righties and a 440 slugging to lefties. Definitely a guy you always want to be targeting. The only downside is the Pittsburgh Pirates really aren't that good of a lineup, and it's in Pittsburgh, which isn't the best hitting environment. But with them not having a good lineup, they still have a 4.47 implied run total. So that tells you something, not to mention the Arizona Diamondbacks have the worst bullpen in the league. Based on xFIP, they have a 4.55 xFIP. That is not good. And yeah, I mean, the Pirates you could definitely be looking to today. Brian Hayes, Brian Reynolds, Michael Chavis, Josh Van Meter, Cal Mitchell, Castro. I mean, some of these guys are really not well known. It's a pretty ugly lineup. I mean, just look at the power. The top guys are power. McConnell at the bottom of the order showing some pop. Vogelback, not going to be in there. Brian Reynolds showing some pop. Sawinski, Chavis are the next guys you're looking to, really. I mean, Brian Hayes and Brian Reynolds are definitely your top two plays. They're 1 and 2. That's kind of obvious. And then once you get down, I guess Jake Sawinski could be a sneaky play, showing some pop early on in that 7 spot. But for the most part, just stack up the Pirates if you're going to them. It's a full stack situation. The bullpen's bad. Zach Davies is bad. Not the best ballpark, but as far as Pittsburgh's concerned. But other than that, everything you could possibly want, they have. Doubles and singles play, not too bad in PNC, but outside of that, the home runs and stuff aren't the greatest. So Pirate stack, definitely going to be viable today. If you want to go there, we have Marco Gonzalez taking on Texas in a good hitting environment. A 479 slugging in with the righties, a 454 slugging up to lefties. He's really not the greatest. We do prefer to target him with right-handed power, if at all possible, though. And the Rangers definitely do have some guys with some right-handed power. Marcus Semien, Mitch Garver matches lefties. Adolis Garcia, tons of power. Sam Huff. I mean, just looking at the top ISO leaders against left-handed pitching on the season, Mitch Garver with a 340 ISO. That's fantastic. Seager's actually been hitting them very good. Jonah Heim's been crushing lefties. Sam Huff has been crushing lefties. Willie Calhoun's been crushing lefties as well, ironically. So, yeah, but I mean, for the most part, it's Sam Huff, it's Adolis Garcia, it's Mitch Garver, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, the 1 through 6 range. But honestly, Eli White, Charlie Culberson, and Andy Ibanez, the lineup is designed to hit left-handed pitching very well. These guys are traditionally all pretty good left-handed hitters. So if you're going expensive at pitching or something and you had to go to the bottom of that lineup, I really don't hate it. And then you factor in the hitting environment in Texas. Really great hitting environment out there as far as Globe Life Field. Green. Singles, doubles, triples, home runs. Always a ballpark that I'm looking to target. So I think the Rangers stack, obviously they have one of the highest implied totals on the slate. So they're one of the best stacks. I mean, no surprise there. But just breaking into the data, the lineup and all that stuff like we do here, looks good. Chris Bubic taking on Houston. Houston looks like a fantastic spot as well. The Royals bullpen's terrible. Chris Bubic isn't the best. He gives a 441 slugging to righties and a 611 slugging to lefties. So it's not just the righties he struggles against. He's bad against both sides. So the Astros stack, I mean, it's got to be the top on the slate. It's in Kansas City, which isn't the friendliest ballpark for home runs, but there are 8-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to left center. It is 77 degrees, pretty good hitting weather. It does play friendly for everything outside of home runs as well. So Kansas City, Kauffman Stadium, huge outfield, so it does play nice for those triples, doubles in the gap. It's just the home runs, not the friendliest of confines, but with the way the struggles of Chris Bubik continue and the terrible Kansas City bullpen, that is the 5th worst bullpen in the league in xFIP. Astros stack got to be looking good. Altuve top play on the stack, no doubt. Alex Bregman, good, does hit lefties very well. Yulieski Gurriel hits lefties very well. Jeremy Pena, Chas McCormick has a bunch of power in that 8 spot. Always a guy I like targeting against lefties in the Astros stack to get some salary relief. Michael Brantley lefty on lefty, and Yordan Alvarez, as well as Kyle Tucker. We talked about Bubik struggling, and if they're able to get Bubik out of the game early, I mean, there's a good chance those lefties are going to get to face the right-handed pitchers anyways out of the bullpen. So, Astro stack makes a ton of sense. You could definitely be going there. Eric Fetty in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a really good hitting environment that we haven't quite gotten to touch on yet. The Great American Ballpark, a.k.a. the Great American Small Park, as we like to call it, because a lot of bombs given up here. Great home run hitting environment in Cincinnati. Really does play friendly for pretty much everything for the most part, and great hitting weather as well. It's going to be 82 degrees, 4-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to right center. 5.09 implied run total for the Reds, a 4.41 implied run total for the Nationals, and you look at these two teams' bullpens as well. They're both bad. The Cincinnati Reds have the 3rd worst bullpen in the league, and the Washington Nationals have the 8th worst bullpen in the league. So this looks like a good spot. The only thing is Tyler Mahle is a little bit better than Eric Fetty, I would say, but Fetty gives up a 439 slugging to righties, a 468 slugging to lefties. We do prefer to target him with left-handed power if at all possible, but honestly, I'm just good stacking up everyone. I'd go 1 through 9 on the Reds. I would go 1 through 9 on the Nationals. It's just a really good hitting environment. As far as Tyler Mahle's concerned and his stuff, he does struggle more so against right-handed hitting than he does lefties is the thing, actually. He's a lot better against lefties. He's a reverse splitsy. He gives up a 475 slugging to those righties. So we do prefer to target him with right-handed power. The Nationals are mostly lefties, so you can make an argument to play Tyler Mahle if you wanted to as a tournament play. But once again, really good hitting weather. And lots of power to the heart of the order in Soto, Bell, and Soto in a great ballpark. So I wouldn't rule out the National stack. I definitely think it's viable. The only problem is Mahle has been really tough on left-handed hitting. And the Nationals do have a bunch of left-handed hitters. So that makes me a little weary on the National stack. I definitely prefer the Red stack. But just the ballpark, the weather, everything, it's a really good spot for hitting. So definitely could be stacking up that game if you wanted to. And then once we get down past that, Glenn Otto against Seattle in that same Texas environment that we talked about earlier is a good guy that we could be targeting with a 453 slugging given up to righties and a 382 slugging given up to lefties. He is worse against right-handed hitting, but I'd be willing to target him with both sides. I mean, the Mariners are looking pretty good early on in this season. I mean, they got some pop at the top of the lineup. They got some pop at the bottom. Julio Rodriguez, the top prospect, has looked fantastic for them. Ty France really starting to turn it on. Jesse Winker not having the greatest of years, but I think he's been having some bad BABIP issues. Batting average on balls in play, meaning he's just lacing the ball right at fielders, which does happen from time to time. So a hitter's average does not always tell the full story as far as how they're seeing the ball, but I'd be willing to go 1 through 9 in this stack as well. I mean, Cal Riley, Taylor Trammell, Toro at the bottom lineup, no issues. You know, these are decent bats for sure. So sometimes I look at the bottom and I go, I don't want to go there. Sometimes, you know, I'm willing to go there. Like the Pittsburgh Pirates bottom of that lineup looks ugly, but I'm still willing to go there because of the Davies and the Diamondbacks bullpen. But that's an example of, like, I mean, it just doesn't look like major league hitters. But yeah, and then once we get down past that, I mean, those are pretty much your top spots. There's not really a lot else going on this slate today. McKenzie against Tyler Wells, you could maybe stack up this Baltimore game. I continue to say it. The Baltimore, they moved that left field fence back now, and I don't like Baltimore nearly as much. It's unfortunate. I mean, McKenzie gives up a 392 slugging with a bunch of fly balls to right-handed hitting, but the wall's 700 feet out to left now, so I just don't really want to be targeting. I prefer left-handed hitters in Baltimore now, which is strange. That never used to be the case. It didn't matter, but that's just the truth. So But I mean, I think we did a pretty good job of covering all the spots here. Just looking real quick if there's anything I missed. I mean, Tyler Wells struggles more so against righties as well. Same thing with Cleveland. So I don't really want to go to that game for that reason all too much. But yeah, man, Luis Garcia struggles against lefties is the only thing I would mention. Lastly, for the Kansas City Royals, with a 455 slugging given up to those lefties. If you want to target some Kansas City Royals lefties, you know, definitely would say that that is not a bad idea. Benintendi, Melendez, Isbell, Nicky Lopez. Problem is, they got a pretty right-handed heavy lineup, so. That is my overall breakdown. Before I let you guys go, got to give you my home run call of the day as always, of course. But if you enjoyed, would be greatly appreciated if you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell before you head out the door after this video, or after the home run call, I should say. If you haven't checked out Super Draft, check them out. Use that promo code KJK DFS to receive an instant match deposit on your first $25 deposit over here. I'll be dropping some more MLB picks as well. You can click the link down below in the description if you want to go to the landing page and do it this way instead. And if you haven't checked out the premium content, check that out. Patreon.com/KJK_DFS. That's the link below in the description as well. All right, home run call of the day time. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Mitch Garver, guy that absolutely mashes left-handed pitching, and he gets to take on an extreme fly ball pitcher that gives up a ton of slugging. That is a southpaw today in Marco Gonzalez. Gonzalez gives up a 479 slugging to righties with a 335 WOBA, 48.6% fly ball rate as well, and only a 16.5% K rate. Great hitting environment out there in Texas, and then when you break down the pitching repertoire as far as what Marco goes to, mostly reliant on the sinker changeup combination. He'll go to that sinker 42% of the time against right-handed hitting, the changeup 26% of the time, and Garver crushes both those pitches. Against the sinker, he features a 250 ISO with a 57% hard contact rate and a 412 WOBA, and then as far as the changeup, he mashes as well. A 241 ISO with a 45% hard contact rate and a 337 WOBA. Think he takes Marco deep today. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So yeah, guys, Mitch Garver, think he's taking Gonzalez deep today. He's my home run call of the day, and that is all for me in this one. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell before you head out the door. Wishing you guys all the best of luck on your DraftKings and FanDuel contests today, and we will see you in the next one.